Hey everybody, this is Baseskip and welcome back to another replay from the Dreamhack Dota 2 Invitational. This is going to be the first game of a best of 3 set between No Tidehunter and Fnatic, and this is going to be part of my sort of a replay cast series. Just trying to stay on top of practice since I've got lots of stuff coming up in April, and I definitely need to get some done. So, without much further ado, we're going to be getting underway with the draft. No Tidehunter going to be on the Radiant side with first pick, and Fnatic going to be on the Dire. I don't really have any announcements to make at the moment. I will just throw out a very quick reminder that the Tides Wrath Dota 2 competition, the Oceanic Dota 2 competition, that signups for that are going to be coming to a close at the end of this month, on the 31st, I believe. So if anyone out there has a team in the Oceanic region, then I encourage you to sign up. We've got some big names signing up, I believe, and there's about a $1,500 prize pool available at the moment as well, with 1K going to the winner. So it's not very generously distributed, but it's not very equally distributed over the various placings, but there's a lot of prize money available, and it's all being donated as well. We don't have any sponsors or anything like that for the competition, and I will hopefully be casting as well, depending on my availability during the month. It could be getting pretty busy, but hopefully I'll see you guys there for that. So far, we've seen a Nyx and a Keeper of Light ban from No Tidehunter, and a Magnus and Lone Druid going to be the bans for Fnatic. As always, Bulldog fairly well renowned for his Lone Druid, so none too surprising to see that ban, though we wouldn't typically see that in the first 4 spots. Coddle and Nyx, I think, speak for themselves, and Magnus, I guess it's a point of preference there. We haven't been seeing him be banned as much of late, but still definitely very strong, and one of S4's, I think one of S4's better heroes from what I've seen. He's a fantastic mid all around anyway, so we shall see. And Fnatic going to go for Batrider and Shadow Demon, while Wisp is going to be taken by No Tidehunter. We'll see if this is going to work out for them, if they're going to have the right sort of setup. More than likely just going to be CK with Wisp. Could be Tiny as well. Obviously the downside with Wisp is that they could be aggressively tri-laned against, and if it's not CK, then the carry, whatever carry that you grab, doesn't really bring that much if you're going to be offensively tri-laned against. I think the point that I'm trying to get at, okay, CK plus Wisp is okay. They're basically, the CK complements Wisp's weaknesses enough that tri-lane versus tri-lane, that's sort of okay, especially if you've got the defensive tri-lane advantage of being on the Radiant side. But if you choose someone like Tiny or something like that, then you can be in trouble. And we're actually going to have Nature's Prophet and Chen, so it's looking pretty pushy right now from No Tidehunter, and Silence are going to be picked up here by Fnatic. So, a bit of an interesting draft so far, I have to say. Interested to see where this Silencer is going to be run. Nature's Prophet more than likely going to be on that off lane. Won't really be able to jungle, given that, it could be on mid as well. Won't really be able to duck into the jungle at all, given that Chen is on the field, so if it's an offlane Nature's Prophet, that could be trouble for him, though it could obviously potentially be mid as well. I would typically mention mid pulls with Wisp, but they're significantly more difficult now, so we might not see that, and Fnatic just going to go straight for some bans on carries that partner fairly well with Wisp. Interesting to see that No Tidehunter went for those sort of push pickups before trying to secure down that carry, because we'll see what's going to be left for them at the end of the day. The Riki ban is interesting. I think we actually saw Fnatic running Wisp with Riki. The really nice thing about that combination is that, similar to Reality Rift, the Blink Strike from Riki pretty much always guarantees a tether stun, and it's a really, really strong ganking combo, I have to say. Even justifies sort of maxing tether, just so that Riki can get a ton of damage out. You get backstab, you get tether, and that's pretty much a kill every single time you jump on someone. And NTH right now just choosing to ban out a couple of carries of their own. So Fnatic right now more than likely going to be Batrider on mid. It's going to be a difficult matchup for whoever he meets there. Shadow Demon and Silencer probably as support, though Silencer can be bumped up a little bit in terms of farm priority. And they don't have bad heroes at the moment to try and run an offensive tri-lane into No Tidehunter. Then it just comes down to a question of what are the solos going to be. And NTH right now looking towards a solo and a carry, and Fnatic pretty much a similar story. Again, depends on where the Silencer is going to be run. And we'll see a Nyx ban and a Storm Spirit. Nyx ban from No Tidehunter, and Fnatic going to choose to ban out Storm. So we'll see. Stormban could be leading them in the direction of potentially an anti-mage, trying to take this a little bit later in the game. No, we'll have to see. NTH, if they're gonna win, with the lineup at the moment, it's looking like they're gonna have to win early. Use the power of the Nature's Prophet in the Chen. Try and push really hard, get that gold advantage happening pretty early on, and from there hopefully just push it out. If they're still just looking to all in on the push, they could go for something like a Juggernaut, a fairly good pushing carry. Gives you some sustain. What else? So we're gonna have a Puck pickup. So Puck more than likely going to be the mid. That bumps Nature's Prophet into a weird spot. We're not going to be seeing an offensive tri lane between Wisp and Chen. They're just not great heroes in that situation. And it might just be Tiny here from No Tidehunter. Just doing some maybe Treads, Ags Rush, and then just get some points in Overcharge up on Wisp and have that as the big tower destruction. Tower destruction core of their push. Not bad relocate ganks either, though it can be a little bit difficult with Silencer and Shadow Demon. Just Silencer instantly, whenever you see the relocate going off, just global silence, and whoever's being ganked can just sort of walk away from it unless the Tethyston immediately connects. And Fnatic going to be able to pick up Gyrocopter here, so a hero that has been making big waves in the metagame for the last couple of weeks. Anyone who's watched competitive Dota in the last couple of weeks has probably seen this guy's mustachioed face, and I mean, no big surprises there. He does an absolutely enormous amount of damage just with a couple of items, even with just his BKB. Just does huge AoE damage in team fights, and isn't really sort of reliant on cooldowns in the same way that Luna is. I mean, I think it's a fair comparison. They're both carries who have a really sort of early to mid-game presence, and they both only really need a BKB as their core, but Gyrocopter with the ridiculously short cooldown on cooldown, and just all of the mass AoE damage along with the early game nuke that he brings from Rocket Barrage, really has cemented his place in the metagame. We might see some tweaks on him, though I don't know if he's necessarily a huge problem. And no Tidehunter actually going to go for Dragon Knight here, so it is definitely sort of an all-in push, trying to get as much as they can out of that green dragon form. And DK, not a hero, well, not a carry that we typically see that much of. He was occasionally seen in EG when they ran their Night Strat, running sort of the solo mid Pinoy DK with Bottle Crowing and a Shadow Blade Rush, which is a very Pinoy style of DK. And I think that was played by Jo. But outside of that Night Strat, we haven't really seen too much of him. He's kind of an awkward carry, really wants to get to level 16 as quickly as he possibly can. Doesn't really have a huge amount of impact before that. He does get sped along a little bit just by picking up that first point in Dragon form and then just pushing out from there, trying to claim a whole bunch of towers. But if no Tidehunter gets stalled at all in their push, it's going to be trouble. And between Darkseer and Gyrocopter, Fnatic have some really good tools to stall directly, and then with the Batrider as well. If they can just turn any fight into a 4v5, that's going to stall no Tidehunter's push for a very long time, and they'll be looking pretty good for Fnatic. We might even just see Fnatic go aggressive right now. They've got two of the strongest solo heroes in the game between Batrider and Darkseer, and they don't have a weak tri-lane either between Shadow Demon, Silencer, and Gyrocopter. A lack of hard disable might hurt them a little bit, but just the pressure that they're going to apply is going to force Chen to come out fairly early. And we'll see how Puck and Nature's Prophet are going to be able to stand up against Darkseer and Bat. It's not amazing matchups for either of them.
10 seconds
So it looks like it is just going to be Puck against Batrider, and then Darkseer versus Nature's Prophet. And more than likely, depends on whether or not Fnatic are going to be running that aggressive tri-lane. But I think it's sort of the right choice. Try and put the pressure on the Chen, try and put some pressure on DK, and don't let NTH take advantage of their very greedy sort of lineup. So getting into the game, over on the side of Fnatic, we've got No Tail playing Silencer, Hani is going to be on Darkseer, Era playing Gyrocopter, Fly, it's going to be the Shadow Demon, and Trixie will be playing Batrider. Over on the side of No Tidehunter, we've got Ake playing his Chen, S4 is going to be on Puck, so he's going to be heading towards mid, Loda will be on DK EGM, it's going to be on Wisp, and that leaves Admiral Bulldog to play Nature's Prophet. So lane's no big surprise for them at the moment. Again, if Bulldog runs into complications up on top lane, and it does look like it might just be a defensive tri-line from Fnatic, then he doesn't have the option to really head into the jungle since he'd be stepping on Ake's toes a bit. There is sort of enough space for both of them to be jungling at the same time, and they could even be exceptionally greedy and have Treant stacking camps and have Chen creep stacking camps, and then we'll just hope that they find a couple of wildkins and be able to clear them out. But we'll see how it's going to work out. Looks like it is just off lane. Okay, off lane Batrider. Little bit interesting to see, and Hani has been pulled some regen by Notes. Looks like he's just going to be heading towards mid right now. A bit of a mix-up from what you would normally expect to see between the Darkseer and the Batrider. And yeah, frankly, not sure 100% what to make of it. We haven't really seen off-lane Bat too much of late, just given how much he dominates solo lanes. But Batrider will be able to actually get quite a bit out of this lane, given that Chen is sort of going to be in the jungle and not really applying direct pressure. And Wisp by himself can't really drive the Batrider out of lane, so we'll have to see. Just the presence of Bat down here might be enough to stall Loda's farm for a while. The problem is sort of going to be that, well, I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that Darkseer could have done sort of the same job anyway, just double ion shelling and applying pressure and sort of slowing down Loda's farm that way. We don't have any wards on the Batrider either, so he's going to have to play pretty defensively down in this lane, and Loda has been pulled a little bit of regen. Not sure what he's going to be going for. Hand of Midas is actually really good on DK, just for that bonus experience. Get him towards level 16 that little bit faster, though we might just have to see early push items from him, some early auras, things like that. And that Lone Bracer might quickly become a drum, we'll have to see. It's maybe a little bit of too much extrapolation. Hopefully you guys can't hear the lawnmower that's outside too much. Again, this is the disadvantage of me trying to do casting practice during the day. I don't really have full control of everything, and Trixie just camping out the Zerman Urn. I'm just keeping an eye on this in case something happens, but he's just going to zip himself across, and looks like he's going to be absolutely fine, just being a bit of a jerk at the moment. Won't really be able to get a creep pull off or anything like that, and Loda first point up in Dragon Tail already. Trixie needs to be careful, he's going to run out of Firefly in just a second. Now gets stunned up, stuck in the trees, and EGM very patiently holding on to that first tether stun. Trixie's going to go down, and frankly, a little bit strangely, First Blood also drawn by Loda. So if he wants to go for that Hand of Midas, then he's in fantastic standing to do so. And we'll probably just even see that. I think Loda is one of the biggest fans of Hand of Midas in the entire game. And given that he got 300 gold to start, and now he's got that First Blood gold, I think we're probably just going to be seeing that from him. So Trixie, not sure what he was thinking of there. I was maybe hoping to intercept the creep wave and then be able to pull it around sort of back to the tower, but Loda and EGM, after spotting him over by the rune, were just really easily able to converge. So no Tidehunter right now, none too surprising from them. They're just going for a couple of jungle stacks right now, so hopefully Ake will be able to find himself. Hopefully he'll be able to find himself some wildkins. Unfortunately, Admiral Bulldog not having a great time up on top, and the illusions were actually blocking him in until Fly adjusted them. Maybe a bit of misplay, but it's going to be a kill regardless. So nicely played there by Fnatic. I think a little bit of luck on the block over there. And Bulldog really shouldn't have walked over quite that close, but nice counter. Well, another kill picked up by Fnatic, and Trixie now just actually heads down, sort of hiding in the trees right now. I think he flew up and around the edge of the map. Doesn't look like he walked in there. Yeah, so it looks like he more than likely just flew up and around. And now he's just going to be trying to stay in 1200 XP range. But unfortunately for him, he's ranged, so he suffers from denies quite a bit. Only gets 18 experience per deny in this lane, while a melee hero gets 36. So melee heroes actually do twice as well in solo offlaning when they're getting denied. And it looks like NTH are just going to be pushing out regardless, so the creep equilibrium is quickly shifting away from this position, and yeah, Trixie's going to have to adjust right now. Hani, Invis Rune, makes his way down towards bot. He's got a fresh Ion Shell ready to go just to clear this out a little bit. I think maybe just trying to see if there are any sentries. There are some sentries up on Ake. So Hani needs to be pretty careful, and yeah, even popping some spirits right now. There might be some suspicions about what's going on. The spirit should not be popping unless there's a hero there. And Hani now reveals himself, immediately gets netted. No-Tail's actually now cycled in towards mid, but S4 already level 4. Just immediately applying some pressure, and no Tidehunter wanting this early tower. Looks like they're going to be able to get it as well. Instead of Midas already flying out, that's a Midas recipe ready to go for Loda. Unfortunately didn't get the tower last tip, but doesn't really need to finish off his Midas, so giving the extra gold to the Chen. Slightly faster Arcane Boots, slightly faster mech, though we might see that on EGM just depending. And the nice thing as well, I guess, that I didn't mention is that Wisp is actually fairly good at clearing out stacks as well, just because of the AoE, the explosion. at the end of the spirits, and you can also force that by summoning up a fresh set of spirits. So Wisp no slacker when it comes to clearing out stacked camps in the jungle either. So NTH off to an early lead. It's going to be about 1,500 the gold lead just between that first blood, just between the first blood and that early tower. And Loda already with his Midas up before 3.5 minutes is looking pretty formidable right now. Hani makes his way back towards mid, but he's a little bit behind S4 at the moment. Has his Soul Ring up along with his bottle, and the 4-minute urn is just about to spawn. Both teams full vision on that one, so we'll have to see. It looks like Fnatic support's just rotating down right now to try and camp this one out. Unfortunately, though, it does spawn down on bot. Looks like Hani's going to go for it regardless, but Ake going to go for the intercept, and yeah. Well, Hani might be able to get a little bit of a consolation. No, not quite. Ake just needs to walk straight past. He's getting punched to death by Hani, but in comes EGM. And this is going to be absolutely fine. Maybe Tether Stun. Ake is still on the run. And going to be able to dominate the creep. It goes down regardless. Unfortunate for him. Hani, round 2, going to have another surge up as well. EGM, where can you tether to? Tries to tether across to S4, but S4 a little bit too close. Now popping the salve. No-Tail in the middle of this. In comes Loda. Admiral Bulldog joins the fray as well. No-Tail, you're going to go down in one more right click. He does now drop. And Hani on the way out, off to the left. Gonna have a surge up in just a second as well. I think he's gonna be fine. Yeah, S4 not quite level 6, so no Dream Coil on how he's gonna be able to make his escape. Well, I guess overall, one support for one support. The total trade as No-Tail sort of joins that fight. Meanwhile, on top, Fnatic just applying some pressure of their own. Is this new? Yeah, okay. So this is the recent patch. I haven't really been following it closely enough. Haven't been following the tournament live, so I don't know when these games were played. This was the most recent set, so I guess it was in the last couple of days. And Tranquil Boots being the new version of Tranquil sort of confirms that they're significantly weaker now as far as sustain is concerned, but the move speed's still great for Gyro. And mass TPs are coming in. They want this tower fortification already used. Is Era going to be able to get it? He will, putting out some huge damage. In comes Loda as well. S4 almost dead. Well, no tether stun there, but a send back. Just send back in time. What just happened to S4? Oh no, just jaunted himself away. So Loda comes in, gets a kill, and just more and more XP going his way. 3 kills, the advantage to NTH right now. And interesting to see some mass TPs from them, trying to hold on to map control however they can at the moment. And we just have to really keep a track of those core pushing items coming online. So we've got a Bassi finished on Ake. He's going to have some Arcanes up fairly soon. EGM, not a whole lot of farm to speak of. Probably just going to be an Urn up on him. And it might even just be a mech up on Admiral Bulldog, depending on his levels of farm. Look like he is just going back towards a Hand of Midas right now, so it shouldn't be too slow as far as that mech is concerned. It'll come down to really who picks up more farm in NTH, who gets those tower last hits. And S4, not a whole lot of farm to talk about right now. Probably just going to see Blink, the standard core on him, coming up. Just picking up some treads right now. So, name of the game right now for Fnatic, just try and, I think, pretty much stall as best they can. The one problem about just straight up stalling is that Nature's Prophet is going to be able to sort of split push through later on in the game, though we'll see how that works out as we progress forward. And Fnatic sort of going for early game of their own. I mean, Era just with the Tranquils and a Drum, probably going to be a BKB. After that, I would suspect, I mean, could be a Manta style as well, but more than likely just going to be the BKB. And Hani, not a whole lot of farm just yet, so both teams just chugging along. Gold difference hasn't really moved too much in the last little bit. And XP now pushing out in NTH's favor, but no big surprise. They've got one dedicated jungler, and Admiral Bulldog is pretty much getting experience constantly. Trixie has jumped into the jungle as well, and he's actually making really good progress right now. Almost has his Blink Dagger finished up, which is frankly very, very impressive, given that he got first blooded in the early sort of start that he had. Not really being able to get that much farming done, so nicely played. And Hani in trouble on mid. Dream crawled up, pops the haste, but actually just breaks it as the Prophet Ultimate bounces. Well, Prophet Ultimate bounces through and picks up that kill. So nice coordination from NTH, and Ake looping around for that gank as well. Map awareness failing me a little bit today, guys. Fly caught out, gonna actually disrupt himself defensively. Centaur waiting for the stomp, gets it off. In comes S4. Fairly, I think, a highly rolled nuke there from Ake, but brings down Fly regardless. And yeah, not sure about disrupting himself as opposed to disrupting Ake. But I don't think No-Tail was close enough to really... Well, No-Tail might have been close enough to make a difference there. So Fnatic just sort of being picked to pieces, and NTH's early push strategy off to a really good start. Applying some pressure down on bot, forcing the rotation out from Hani. And No-Tail walking down that way at the moment as well, but still on level 4 on the silencer right now. Just not having a great game, being dragged from lane to lane. And NTH, they get a TP out of Era as well. Fnatic need to get something done with this TP, otherwise... No, is Era coming across to still clear the Ancients? It's only 2 stacks, and he's only got 2 points up in Flat Cannon. So NTH just getting a lot out of these pushes and not really being punished for it just yet. And interesting to see that Fnatic are just sort of running into them headlong. Not, well, I mean, it's sort of scare tactics, not really expecting to get kills. And, oh, we've got the blink up and the surge on Twixie. I think S4 is long gone on mid. So... a nicely coordinated gank from Fnatic. Should be able to pick them up a tower as well. No fortification available for no Tidehunter. At the same time, they did take the tier 2 tower down on bot, but Fnatic doing a good job at least as far as towers are concerned, trading evenly. And NTH now have to turn their attention towards another lane. Fortunately for them, bottom isn't really a dead lane for them right now. I mean, they can send Bulldog down just to try and force TPs constantly. He doesn't really have, you know, a Lothar's or Blink Dagger or anything like that, split pushing item right now. And regardless, would have to be fairly careful with Batrider with his blink, sort of threatening his death at any time. But it does mean that they can get a little bit more out of this bottom lane, and even just the Nature's Prophet ultimate, the Nature's Wrath. Bouncing around is going to mean that Fnatic are going to have to occasionally tend to this lane, since every lane is going to naturally push in NTH's favor. So EGM working his way towards an urn right now. Ake is going to be the one to pick up the mech, which probably means that Admiral Bulldog can go towards a little bit of DPS slash split push if he would like. And yeah, Loda just going Hand of Midas and a drum, just some aura stack and aura push. And the problem for NTH is just going to be making it up onto the high ground. Fortunately for them, they're not... I mean, Chen is sort of an all-in pushing hero, but the rest of their lineup isn't bad heading in towards the late game. They don't really have anyone who's going to fall off a cliff enormously, like similar to an Enchantress or anything like that. And I'll hold these thoughts. We're getting a big teamfight breakout. Trixie manages to get the lasso off on S4, but still caught in the Dream Call there. 1 for 1 so far. Lotus stands his ground, right-clicking away on Era, pops down the call down, Sprout up on No-Tail, turns himself around right now. Tower still putting out some good damage, and in comes Hani. Double damage up on him as Wisp and DK leave the fight with that relocate. So it looks like that's going to be it as far as the engagement on mid. Fnatic find themselves mid, but not sure if they're really going to be able to apply too much pressure onto this tier 2. Hani may be considering it. No, just going to back themselves out. Hani just working his way towards a mech right now. And looks like Loda either working his way towards an armlet or a Helmet Dominator right now. I guess mass creep's never a bad choice, and can continue to be greedy and even stack up these Ancients as well, though. Looks like Bulldog doing a pretty good job so far with just the Trance. Getting some stacks up there. So NTH just taking full advantage of the map right now. And I guess a term that I've been using for a little while to sort of describe NTH's overall strategy is buffaloing. I guess it's that it's an old... Oh, okay, so I'm going to be referencing something that I'm not 100% sure is correct, but it's like a old Native American saying, which is, you know, use every part of the buffalo. And it's sort of what NTH do in their Dota games, if you let them. They will use every single camp in the jungle, they will stack up their Ancients, they will get farm out of every single lane, they will be as greedy as you let them. And it really does reflect in the XP and the gold. XP about a 3k swing at the moment, and about a 4k gold difference as well, even with 4 kills in their favor. Again, towers are still pretty even, so all that experience in gold, you know, bar the 4 from the kills, is just sort of straight out farming from NTH, really knowing how much they can get out of every resource on the map. And I mean, you can continue to see it here as they just continue to stack up literally everything that they can and eke every little bit of the experience out of the map. So I call it buffaloing. I think it's a very NTH-esque strat. We've got triple troll warlords here, army of skeletons. Fnatic looking for the pick off the surge, the drag back onto S4, but the global silence pops at the same time. S4 is still fairly healthy, gets bounced back. Vacuum as well, straight into the wall. Hani putting out some good damage, but gets curled up. Nice defensive disruption. Era stands his ground, gets sprouted up, live and let Loda, bringing him down with the relocate in from the rear. Hani now on the retreat, but Urn charges up on him. Oh, will he survive? Bottling right now. Admiral Bulldog still chasing. Tries to get the hit off down onto the low ground. Hani's still on the run out. Looks like Trixie's going to be fine to escape. More TPs coming in right now. Looking for Hani. The coil goes out. Admiral Bulldog with the teleportation as well. Has a sprout. Hani, nice vacuum. Tangos his way through the trees, trying to survive. Does a really good job of it, but not quite enough in the end to evade the global Nature's Prophet. So, nice team fight for No Tidehunter. They take down the tower. They get a whole bunch of kills, a really well-timed relocate as well, and even managing to keep S4 alive in that, just doing fantastically. Fnatic not really getting the initiation that they wanted there. And NTH now in a very convincing position. 7 kills in the lead, really leading in terms of map control, and I mean managing to kill off Era pretty much every single time he joins the fight. Buys Boots of Travel as well, just to try and we'll have that little bit of extra map mobility and to be able to attend fights pretty much anywhere, but it leaves him quite squishy. And I mean, would have hopefully been, you know, to be able to prevent relocates or punish relocates and things like that. But right now, just with that death in that last team fight, his next big item, which should be a BKB, is going to be delayed a little bit more, and really does need it to participate in these fights. But there is some farms stacked up waiting for him right now. But NTH know about it. They've got Treants, they've got Skeletons scouting it out. And if Fnatic lose this stack, well, I mean, it's not even a big stack at the moment, but if they lose this to NTH, it's really not going to be looking good for them in this game. S4 now has his Blink Dagger finished up. And just ruthless pressure right now from NTH, taking advantage of the Dire jungle as well. Now that they've got some space there. Loda a little bit caught out down on bot. Calldown's gonna drop as well, but no! EGM! Relocate of the century. Nicely played, my man. He's gonna probably die. Support is coming in from S4. He's considering going this, but I don't think Loda's gonna be able to heal up in time. He's gonna manually TP back. They're gonna try and save EGM. They pop global... No. Well, Global Silence pops as well, so no tether away, but S4 jumps in. Huge Dream Coil lands at 3. The mech already popped. Airdrop slow, now down. Fly gonna break the coil. He's gonna drop as well. Nice wall from Hani, but he gets sprouted up. Now 3 dead. NTH, a huge turnaround from them, and should be able to turn this one into, well, maybe turn this into a Rex. This is going to be respawns on Fnatic fairly soon, but still about 25 seconds for them to get up onto the high ground. And they are pushing with a vengeance right now. And they've even got a couple of neutral, they've got an actual creep in amongst this wave as well, so backdoor protection going to be disabled very, very quickly. Loda still with about half the duration left in that dragon form, just absolutely melting the tower. And Trixie doing his best to try and stall. Well, is cleaning out a lot with that Firefly, but tier 3 tower already gone. And everybody's now respawned. Looks like NTH might just back out. Oh, Bulldog gets knocked back. S4 jumps back in. Huge 4-man silence. Gets the coil up as well. Noted almost dead. Huge mech from Hani. Good defensive disruption on Trixie, keeping him alive for now. Are NTH going to try and take the disengage? They're still fairly healthy. They've got Hand of God up their sleeve. Loda jumps back in. He wants to fight now out of his ultimate. And looks like that might be it. Hand of God pops. All of NTH fairly low on mana. Bulldog finally going to be able to get that TP out. So NTH, well, huge reaction time. Well, not huge. Very small reaction time from S4. Jumped in pretty much immediately after Bulldog got hit by that flame break and just covered him perfectly. And so NTH, well, they had to posture and be a little bit scary there. They didn't lose anyone and sort of got out scot-free. So. And I guess that's sort of a problem for Fnatic. If Trixie isn't able to get in aggressively with his Blink Dagger, if he gets clipped by a Spirit or something like that, then you just can't jump in, can't get that initiation off. And he's really the only source of initiation right now for Fnatic. Nobody else can really close the gap and sort of punish stragglers. So NTH now a 10 kill lead. They're up a tier 3 tower on bot, and we'll see how long it's going to be until the next push comes online. Admiral Bulldog now with his Shadow Blade finished up, looking very, very healthy as far as net worth is concerned. And again, with the Shadow Blade, can now be a little bit more aggressive on sort of split pushing this bottom lane, while the rest of his team tries to just apply pressure and claim the tier 2 on mid and top. As soon as this tier 2 on mid falls, NTH can quite comfortably turn their attention towards Roshan. And Loda still without blemish as far as deaths are concerned. Now has his armlet finished up, and probably this next item coming along fairly soon with 2k gold up in the bank. Fnatic deciding that it's finally time to clear out this stack, try and get back into this game, but they're already 10k experience behind and about 12k gold, and NTH at the same time clearing out their stack as well. Loda just picks up the red dragon form just to clear this one out, and that's going to get him fairly close to his level 16, along with his Hand of Midas just chugging away. So he's going to have his next item fairly soon. More than likely just going to be a BKB, though we'll have to see. And Era, unfortunately, another death added to the tally, only 1k gold up for him right now. And they're just about to finish clearing out this stack, so there wasn't as much banked up gold as maybe Fnatic would have liked. And I guess just being a little bit less diligent than NTH and stacking it up, though they don't really have an easy way to do it either. And NTH just straight back to their pushing shenanigans right now, feeling really confident with their position in this game. I mean, they're getting more and more items up. Loda's actually just heading towards what looks like a heart or potentially a satanic, just picking up a reaver, so pretty absurdly tank at this point. They don't even really need the green dragon form anymore to push. As you can see, tower really just being melted right now. I guess an argument could be made that maybe AC would be a fairly good pickup, but Bulldog's probably going to be able to get a Dezo or an AC up fairly soon. And even Ake not doing too badly in terms of farm. Arcane boots up and another 1400 gold as well. S4 now making progress towards his Hex, though that's going to be at least a little ways away. So Fnatic still definitely on the back foot, trying to finish up whatever items they possibly can. Trixie almost with his 4-staff finished up, so that's going to be a big help as far as initiating out. But just really forced to play an extremely defensive game right now. And not even contesting, well, NTH taking these tier 2 towers on top and mid, and NTH can now quite comfortably just turn their attention towards Roshan. And we'll see if Fnatic are going to let them get away with this. They can't afford to just let the game continue to slip further and further out of their control. Again, XP and gold starting to look sort of worse and worse as we go on, and NTH actually going to decide, oh, okay, so maybe they're going to try and use Bulldog to force TPs and whatnot and then head into the Roshan pit. But just really fantastic from NTH. I mean, as soon as they sort of call a back off, everybody just immediately, straight farms at the jungle. Every single camp pretty much cleared right now, aside from this hard camp over here. And again, just eking every little bit of experience in gold out of the map. Very disciplined as far as that's concerned. And Loda, what's he picking up? Looks like this is going to be a heart for him, so attempting to become unkillably tank. EGM not picking up some points in overcharge as well, so I mean Loda just with the damage from the heart and the splash from his level 16, which is going to be up in about a level and a half, is going to be putting out an enormous amount of damage, and I mean 2 Fnatic's lineup as well be nigh unkillable at this point. Admiral Bulldog actually going for a Necrobook, so another nice pushing item there. Not sure why that slipped my attention. And Trixie forced the TP back, has his 4-staff finished up. Question right now is who's got buyback available? Nobody bar Hani on the Dire side, and just a swarm of summons onto the melee barracks. S4 comes in, a huge 3-man Cole, gets a 3-man silence as well. The drag away onto Loda, but he's just so tanky. Fnatic needs to be careful about these target selections. Loda is dropping low. Hani almost dead, but for nothing so far. Loda just so absurdly tank. I think got hit by a mech, double Hand of God from EGM as well, and just the overcharge. So much survivability for him. So Fnatic just gonna tap out, call it GG, and go to game 2. So that's gonna be it for this game. This was the Dreamhack Dota 2 Invitational. I've been Baseskip. This is just a replay cast for me, and I finally decided that I'm going to be replay casting 7 times a week, so that's at least once a day. It won't necessarily be daily, and the uploads won't necessarily be daily, but for example today I'm hoping to get this best of 3 set out, and then I'll do some other games later on in the week. So anyone who is actually listening out for an announcement from me, as far as that's concerned, that's going to be it for replay casting, and I'm hoping to put out 1 non-casting video a week, though we'll see how that goes. I am pretty busy with uni. So thanks everyone tuning in. I've been Baseskip. If you guys have any feedback for me as far as my casting is concerned, I would love to hear it. Leave a comment or send me an email at baseskipdota@gmail.com. But yeah, that's it for this game. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in future broadcasts and I guess just future casts, future videos in general. See you then, guys.